Hey guys, so anybody that's been watching my videos knows that normally I go through and I do my new beginnings and an end. I talk about my new issues, I talk about my series that are ending and stuff like that. This week I got a lot of Marvels, a lot of new Marvel. I want to go through and kind of talk about stuff because there were some really good books and there were some books that I was just not at all happy with. So yeah, I'm gonna go through these and talk about them. So first off, I got Black Panther. Um, I have to say that I've never really read any Black Panther, and I kind of felt confused in this issue. I thought the art was amazing. The page layouts and everything in this book were great, but I didn't really fully understand who exactly or what exactly Black Panther's about, which was a little underwhelming to me. Um, can't really say that this was my favorite thing that I read out of the stuff, but I mean, it gave like a back history of what's going on with Black Panther currently and his sister and everything that's going on. But then when it did the flashbacks and everything, I almost felt like I would rather read a book about his sister than read a book about him, which I don't really believe was what they were going for here. But I mean, all in all, it was a pretty good book. Um, and like I say, the art on it was freaking amazing. So next up, I read Moon Knight #1. I love Greg Smallwood's art, and I mean this was no exception. I love him from Dream Thief, the J Knit series that they did for Dark Horse is amazing. And yeah, I was really disappointed when he didn't come back for Dream Thief Escape. But yeah, man, the guy deserves to be an artist on a main book, man. Great art in this book. Jeff Lemire's writing this, and so, automatically that's great. Jordi Belaire's coloring it. I mean, this is like really just about my dream team on a book. And, you know, I wonder whether or not sometimes do you think that there's just characters that you don't connect with? Because everything about this book was amazing. Um, I mean, just absolutely amazing. But, like, I'm curious to see where the story's going to go, and I'm going to continue to pick it up because Jeff Lemire, you know, Smallwood, and Jordi Belair. So I'm going to continue to pick this book up, but I just really didn't, at the end of this book, even with the reveal that was at the end of the book, I didn't really feel like I wanted to read the next issue of this book, which is, a little disappointing to me. Next up, I read Spider-Woman Alpha. Oh my goodness. I read Silk. Tried to read Spider-Gwen, but that first series I didn't really care for. I don't read Spider-Woman, although I hear it's amazing. Um, this Spider-Woman Alpha, the art on this book was so bad um, that it was almost impossible to read. The story on it was excellent. The story on this book was excellent as a lead-in to what's going to happen in the Women of Spider-Verse thing. Was just, man, hands down, man, was a great story. But the art in this book was so bad that, like, seriously, I mean, I just don't understand how it is that, I mean, this is the one panel that I would say I really like. Otherwise, the art was not that good. The coloring looked like it was done in crayon, and I just don't understand what was going on with this issue. I really liked the twist at the end, and like I say, man, great story on the Spider-Woman Alpha. Spider-Gwen, which is the second part of this series, I kind of felt differently. I felt like Bingle's art on this book. I love Bingle, and I really liked her her Silk. I really liked her Spider Woman. Freaking Bingle's just amazing. Um, However, Latour's story on this, I didn't think was as good as the Spider Woman Alpha. But like I'm saying, the the art on this was freaking amazing. Um, and so, I mean, it was. I mean, the two of these together were, great story, great art. So, all in all, that's been a pretty good story so far. I really want to read the Silk issue next week to see exactly where that story's going. But I have to say that hands down, man, the best thing that I read from Marvel, um, which is just a total freaking shock to me. And, if you didn't like it, man, by all means, hit me up in the comments. I can't imagine that anybody didn't like it. But is Gwenpool #1. This Gwenpool #1, every page of this book was freaking just great. The story on this book was great. The, fourth wall thing was done really, really well. So many freaking funny things that went on in this book. Tamara Bullivant's coloring was absolutely freaking amazing. This Giri Hito guy that does the art on it, I don't know who that is, but I really, really liked his art in this. I liked how Japanime that the whole thing kind of was. And, I mean, I just liked her as a character. Any kind of lead-ins or anything that have been done with this, I haven't read any of those. I mean, I went into this Gwenpool 1 fresh, and when I originally bought this, I was like, I'm not going to buy the Scotty Young variant too, and normally I buy all the Scotty Young variants. I'm not going to spend $10 on a book that I don't know whether or not I'm going to read. Of all these books, I'll continue to read the Spider-Woman, the Women of Spider-Verse thing because, I read Silk and I want to know what's happening there. I'll continue to read Moon Knight because of the fact that I love that team that's on that book. I won't continue to read Black Panther, but, just me. It wasn't that it was a bad book. The one book that I know that I'm going to continue to read is freaking Gwenpool. I don't like Deadpool in general. I like some Deadpool stories, but I like him better in team books. Everything, every page of this book was just freaking great. And, me, man. I'm not a big two freaking supporter. Supporting Marvel and DC and, what they've got going on. But this was a good freaking comic. One of the, top 2 or 3 things that I've read so far out of, 20 books. That was, I mean, right up there at the top of the stack. I mean, next to Heartthrob. I mean, right up there at the top of the stack. But, anyway, I'm going to get off here. I've got some books to read, and I will talk to y'all later.